Over the past few days and weeks, we have seen that policing is not fit for purpose. Well, actually, it does fit one purpose, its ultimate purpose, which is to serve the state and uphold their corporate interests. The policeman who murdered Sonya Massey should not have ever been given that amount of power, should not have ever been allowed to hold a gun and be able to point it at this woman who asked for their help and murder her at point blank range over what seemed to have been a joke. And the only reason we knew about this was because his partner didn't turn off their body cam footage. They told Massey's family that she was either murdered by an intruder or killed herself. Do you know how insane that is, that a police officer is able to lie and basically almost get away with it if it wasn't for body cam footage? Imagine if we didn't have that footage, because we've not had body cam footage for decades. Imagine the number of murders that police have committed and we have not been able to, argue against it because we did not have the evidence that we have in this occasion. You also look to the UK, where a police officer felt so emboldened by their the power they have been handed by the state, that they were happy in a crowded airport to stomp on a man's head and then kick him in the face. I don't care if potentially the man was doing something wrong beforehand. He was lying down, his arms were on the ground, he posed no threat, and this officer kicked him in the head and stomped on his head. Do you know how disgustingly just power hungry you need to be to feel like you can just do that, to feel like you can just shoot someone in the face? If you look at places like Bangladesh, which have mass student protests over basically the government trying to portion off a section of jobs over to a small group of people whose families did fight against Pakistani imperialism, but that doesn't mean that the rest of Bangladesh should not be allowed to get jobs. But the police there also brutalize the students alongside the military because the state gives them the power to do that. You go to anywhere else, you go to India, you see that they basically celebrate the police brutalizing the people because the state gives them that power. Internationally, the police's only role is to uphold the power of the state and or the state's corporate interests. In all other aspects, with Sonya Massey, all you had to do was talk to the lady who was scared and wanted help. With the person who was on the floor in Manchester, you didn't have to kick him in the head. But these police officers, they do not know this because their only role is to harm the people, to uphold what the state wants. And in every other aspect of what is supposed to be their job, they fail, and they fail drastically. This is why we should not have our current system of policing, not just here in the UK, not just here in the US, but internationally. We need to get rid of it and replace it with something that actually works, whether it be more social care, whether it be having more trained psychologists on staff. Anything is better than what we have at the moment because it will stop so many preventable deaths.